Alright guys, welcome to our next video. Today we're going to be starting Module 9, which is on probability. So you will need a new table of contents. And 9.1 is just Intro to Probability. And then write me whatever page your next page is on. Okay. So today we're going to talk about converting between fractions and decimals so that we can find basic probabilities, and then we're actually going to find some basic probabilities. So 9.1, Intro to Probability. And today is 11, 18, I believe, 19. All right, so first we're going to talk about converting from a percent to, or no, we'll start with a fraction to a percent. Fraction to percent. Okay. So literally, if you have a fraction already, so let's say you have 7/12, right? All you're gonna do is divide. So step 1, divide in your calculator. So 7 divided by 12. Oops, wrong button. 12. And that's 0.5833. And then step 2, multiply by 100, which is the same as moving the decimal to the right twice. So times 100, you get 58.333. And for our purposes, we're just going to round to the whole percent. Okay. Now, the second thing we really need to know is finding a percent of a number. So finding a percent of a number. So let's say your last test was out of 30 points. And you know to keep your grade point average, you need a 72%. So you want to know how many problems you need to get right. So basically we're finding 72% out of 30. So basically you have x out of 30 equals 0.72. So multiply by 30, multiply by 30. So 0.72 times 30 means you need to get 21.6 points right. Okay. Or probably because I'm not going to give you a 0.6 level point, you need 22 points to get at least a 72%. Okay. So those are two of the main basic fractions and decimals, things that we need to do. Okay. So for this, I have it printed out. You do not. You need to write all of these in your notebook. Okay. Write the question, the work, and the answer for me, okay? I will be checking for these. So, fractions. What is 1/3 of 1/4? Well, 1/3 out of the 1/4. All you do is multiply. Multiply straight across so you get 1/12. That's it. Okay, 7/12 is the problem we already did. So what percentage is 7/12? I told you it's 2 steps. Divide 7 out of 12 times 100. So we're going to have 58%. Now, what is 42% of 60? Remember we said, what out of 60 is equal to 0.42? Remember I write 0.42 because for the percent to go back to the decimal, you have to move your decimal point backward. So to isolate the x, we multiply each side by 60. So in my calculator, I do 42 times 60. And that's 25.2, or we'll just call it 25. Okay. All right. This one's kind of the opposite of this. It says 50 out of what number is 70%? Okay. So this one, instead of multiplying, we're going to end up dividing because you want x by itself. So divide by 0.7. Divide by 0.7. So x is 50 out of 0.7. So I got 50 over 0.7. That's 71.4. So 71. So 50 out of 71 is 70%. If you're unsure, you just do 50 over 71, okay, and that's 70%. There you go. All right, this side is very similar to this side. Okay. Write 5/6 as a percent. Remember, we're just going to divide and multiply by 100. So 5 over 6 times 100, and that's going to be 83%. What is 71% of 1,400? So what out of the total 1,400 is 0.71? Okay. So I got to multiply each side by 1,400. Okay. So 0.71 times 1,400 is 994. Okay. And if you're unsure, 994 out of 1,400 will give me 71%. There you go. Now this one's interesting. It says what percent of 30? So of 30, what percent is 72? Okay. And right off the bat, you should be thinking, well, 72 is bigger than 30, so it's gonna be more than 100%. In fact, it's gonna be more than 200% because 200% of 30, right? 30 times 2 is 60. So you do it the same way, just be aware that you should be getting a number that's much larger than 100. Oops. So 72 out of 30 is 2.4. And remember, you gotta move your decimal twice. So that's 240%. Okay. And lastly, 40 is what percent out of 150? Okay. And that's just like number one, 40 out of 150. Multiply by 100 and you get 27%. Okay. All right, so now that you're really good, hopefully, at decimals and fractions and all this, we can actually start probability. Okay, so when we're gonna do probabilities, we're gonna write them as a fraction, okay, and then as a percent. If you write as a fraction, please reduce it. Okay. Well, when you write as a fraction, you need to do both. Okay, the denominator, or the bottom, is the total number of outcomes, and the numerator, or the top, is the number that you want, or the successes, okay? So we're gonna find the probability of each of these events. So number 9, rolling an even number on a standard 6-sided die. All right, so when you roll a die, there are 6 possible outcomes, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or a 6. And then an even number, that's 2, 4, or 6. So you have 3 chances of getting an even number out of the total 6. If you do that, that's a half, which is 50%. So you got a 50% shot at rolling an even number. Okay. Drawing a black card from a standard deck of cards. So this one, you could know that there are 52 decks in or 52 cards in a deck. But you might think to yourself, well, there are only black and red cards, and half of them are black and half of them are red. So half of them are black out of the total 2. So that's also a 50% chance of success here. All right, number 11. We're talking about multiple events here. So flipping a coin and getting heads 3 times in a row. So the chances of getting heads the first time is 1 out of 2, right? You either get heads or tails. Well, when you flip it for the second time, you can also have a half chance of getting heads again, 1 out of 2. And then the third time, again, 1 out of 2. So each time it's a half, right? But getting them 3 times in a row is reduced every time, right? So we're gonna multiply these, and you multiply straight across the top, so 1/8. So your chances of flipping 3 times and getting all 3 heads are 1 out of 8. Okay? So when you have multiple events in a row, okay, you multiply events. All right, number 12, rolling a die and getting a 4. Well, there are 6 sides on a die, and there's only 1 4 on there. So it's 1/6. Okay. Oh, we forgot to do 1/8. So 1 out of 8, okay, that's multiplied by 100, so it's 12.5%. Or for rounding, 13%. Okay. And 1 out of 6, right here, 1/6, okay, that's 16.6%, or 17% chance of rolling a 4. All right, drawing an ace from a deck of cards. So you kind of have to know some stuff about cards. There's 4 suits. Okay. So we got diamonds and hearts, those are red. Okay. Then we got clubs, or the clovers. Okay. And then we have spades. Okay. So these are red, these are black. And you've got ace, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, king, queen, okay, for each color, which makes it 52. Okay. So each of the 4 suits have an ace. So there are 4 total aces in a deck of cards out of 52 cards. Okay, we're not playing with jokers or anything for the most part. So 4 out of 52. Well, that can be reduced by 2. So I get 2 out of 26. Oh, that can be reduced again. 1 out of 13. Which should make sense because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, total. And 1 out of 13. Yeah, 1 out of 13. Oops. Is times 100. 7.69, so 8% chance. So you got an 8% chance of drawing an ace from a deck of cards. Rolling a dice twice in a row and getting 2 3s. All right, so your first event is your first roll, and you have a 1 out of 6 chance of getting a 3 because there's only 1 3 there out of the 6 sides. Well, then if I roll again, okay, it's completely independent of what I got last time. So I still have a 1 out of 6 chance of rolling. And when you have multiple events, you multiply. So you multiply right across the top. That's a 1 out of 36 chance of rolling 2 3s in a row. Okay, so 1 over 36 times 100. So you only have about a 3% chance of rolling 2 3s in a row. All right, now 15 is actually a multiple. Okay, so a bag contains 3 blue, 2 red, 1 white, and 4 green marbles. So number 1, how many marbles in the bag? We got 3, 2, 1, and 4. So that's 5, 6, 10 marbles. Okay. What are the chances of drawing a blue marble? So blue, since there are 3 of them, it's 3 out of the 10, or 30%. To draw a red, well, there are 2 out of 10, or 20%. A white, since there's only 1 white marble in there, a 1 out of 10, which is a 10% chance of drawing. And then for green, since there are so many, there are 4 out of 10 in there. Oop, 4 out of 10, which is a 40%. And then for number 3, let's say you draw 2 marbles in a row without replacing them. All right, so your first one is a green. What's the probability that your second one is also green? So the first event already happened. So basically, I have my bag of marbles, okay, and I got all my colors. I got blue, 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 red, red. Okay, they're all mixed up though. 1 white and 1, 2, 3, 4 greens. Okay, so I pull out a green one already, and I don't put it back. So now my odds have actually changed on getting a green one, because now in my bag there are only 9 ones. Okay, we got 3 blues still, okay, 2 reds still, a white, but only 3 greens because I already pulled one out. So the chances of me pulling a green again have now been reduced because there's only 3 in there instead of the 4 out of the total 9 now because we never put that back. So that's a third, which if you put in your calculator is 33%. All right, guys, make sure you have all these notes, and I have a homework assignment for you, which is almost exactly the same. You may work on it in your group. It's due tomorrow. Please be responsible and respectful, and have a great day.